Liam woke up startled, his heart pounding against his chest. Once again, the nightmare tormented him. The scene of his mother's death replayed in his mind like a film on loop. He could still feel her weight in his arms, hear her weak voice whispering, "Take care of Jack." Those words echoed in his head day after day, night after night. At just 11 years old, Liam carried a responsibility far too great for his narrow shoulders. Since that fateful day a few months ago, he had assumed the role of caregiver for his younger brother, just 5 years old. The small apartment where they lived, once full of life and the aroma of cakes baked by Laura, now seemed cold and empty. He got up quietly, trying not to wake Jack, who slept peacefully in the bed beside him. The room was simple, with peeling walls and worn furniture, but clean and organized thanks to the constant efforts of the older boy. Liam approached the window, watching the sky begin to lighten. Another tiring day awaited him. While preparing a simple breakfast for the two of them with the few coins he had managed to earn the day before, he thought about his daily routine. He had left school to take care of his brother full-time. His mornings were filled with household chores, washing clothes, cleaning the house, preparing simple meals. In the afternoon, he would take the little one to school and take the opportunity to sell candies in the city centre. He had to take on these responsibilities because their father was an absent figure. After being fired from his job, he spent his time at the bar on the corner, drowning his sorrows in alcohol. Laura's loss had deeply affected them, but instead of being a support for his sons, he withdrew even further. "Jack, time to wake up," he called gently, shaking his brother. The little one opened his eyes, smiling when he saw the familiar face of the older sibling. "Good morning, Liam," he replied cheerfully, jumping out of bed with the typical energy of a 5-year-old. While Jack was getting ready, Liam was packing the bags. For his brother, the school backpack. For himself, a worn-out bag full of packets of candy to sell. They were on their own, and the boy had to take on responsibilities beyond his age. But he remained strong because of the promise made to their mother. The way to school was short but full of challenges. The narrow streets of the suburban neighborhood where they lived were poorly maintained, with potholes and garbage piled up on the sidewalks. Liam held his brother's hand firmly, guiding him carefully. "Why don't you go to school anymore, Liam?" Jack asked innocently, looking at him with curiosity. Liam hesitated for a moment, searching for the right words. "I have an important job to do, Jack. Taking care of you." Jack nodded, without really understanding the complexity of the situation. To him, Liam was his hero, always present, always caring. After dropping his brother at school, Liam headed to the city centre. The sun began to heat up, promising another day of intense heat. The streets filled with hurried people, rushing to their jobs. He found a strategic spot near a busy square and began his day of selling. The boy offered his candies to those passing by on the street, his young voice getting lost in the noise of traffic and surrounding conversations. The hours passed slowly. The midday sun was relentless, and Liam felt the sweat running down his back. His feet ached from standing so much, and his throat was dry from calling out to customers. But he persisted, thinking of Jack, the promise made to their mother, and what he could buy for him and his brother. As the day progressed, Liam's fatigue intensified. It was not just physical, it was a weariness that came from the soul. He found himself daydreaming, imagining what his life would be like if his mother were still alive, if his father were as present as he once was, and if he could just be a normal 11-year-old boy. It was at this moment of reflection that fate intervened. Walking distractedly through the square, Liam and Jack, who had been picked up from school after classes ended, bumped into a well-dressed man. The impact almost knocked the younger boy down, but the man caught him just in time. "Sorry, sir," Liam hurried to say, helping Jack to regain his composure. The man smiled kindly. "No problem, boys. Are you all right?" Roger was a successful entrepreneur, owner of a chain of clothing stores. Despite his success, he maintained a humble demeanor and a generous heart. His eyes, though tired from long work hours, shone with kindness. Liam, seeing an opportunity, timidly offered, Would you like to buy some candies? Roger looked at the boys more closely. He noticed the simple and worn-out clothes, the scuffed shoes, Liam's tired look contrasting with the innocence in Jack's eyes. Something about that scene touched him deeply. Sure, kid, Roger replied, pulling his wallet from his pocket. To Liam's surprise, he extended a $100 bill. Keep the change. Liam widened his eyes, surprised by the unexpected generosity. But, to Roger's amazement, the boy stepped back, shaking his head. Sorry, sir, but I can't accept. My candies don't cost all that, Liam said, his voice trembling slightly. Roger, intrigued by the refusal, gently insisted. Why would you refuse this money, boy? It's what you need, isn't it? Tell me I can help. Liam hesitated, his hands nervously clutching the strap of the candy bag. He looked at Jack, who watched the scene with childlike curiosity, and then back at Roger. Something in the man's kind expression made him feel safe enough to ask him for something unexpected. I don't want all that money, Liam began, his voice low and trembling, but could you just take my brother and me for a walk like you were our father? He paused, swallowing hard before adding, I'm really tired. Liam's words hit Roger like a punch to the gut. He felt his eyes fill with tears, which he struggled to hold back. The simplicity and depth of the boy's request revealed a story of pain and premature responsibility that he could barely imagine. Of course, Roger replied, his voice choked with emotion. I would love to spend time with you. How about we go get some ice cream? Jack's eyes lit up at the mention of ice cream, while Liam nodded gratefully, a small smile appearing on his tired face. As they walked to the nearest ice cream shop, Roger watched the two brothers. Jack was skipping happily, holding Liam's hand, who walked with slow and careful steps. At the ice cream shop, Roger watched with a heavy heart as Liam helped Jack choose his favorite flavor, always putting his brother's needs before his own. When it was his turn to order, Liam hesitated, choosing the simplest and cheapest flavor on the menu. Sitting at a table enjoying their ice creams, Roger tried to converse with the boys, especially with Liam. At first, the older boy was reserved, answering only with monosyllables. But gradually, encouraged by Roger's kindness and the relaxed atmosphere, Liam began to open up. Do you live nearby? Roger asked casually. Liam nodded. Yes, sir. In a small apartment not far from here. And your parents? Do they work nearby? The question made Liam freeze for a moment. He looked at Jack, who was engrossed in his ice cream, oblivious to the conversation. Gathering his courage, Liam replied in a low voice. Our mother. She passed away a few months ago. Our father has been away, but... He hesitated, not wanting to speak ill of his father. Roger noticed the boy's discomfort and did not insist. Instead, he gently asked, It must be hard for you, isn't it? This simple demonstration of empathy was enough for Liam's barriers to begin to fall. The words he had suppressed for so long began to flow. My mum asked me to take care of him, Liam said, looking at Jack with a mix of love and concern. She said I was strong, but sometimes I think I'm not. I just wish she would come back, or that my dad was different. Roger listened attentively, his heart breaking with every word. He could see the weight of responsibility in Liam's young eyes, the exhaustion in his slumped shoulders, the poorly disguised sadness in his forced smile. You are very strong, Liam, Roger said softly. Stronger than many adults I know, but you shouldn't have to carry all this weight alone. Liam looked at Roger, his eyes glistening with restrained tears. I promised her, he whispered. I promised I would take care of Jack. Roger reached out, gently touching Liam's shoulder. And you're doing an amazing job, but maybe I can help a bit. What do you think about going to the park after this? We can play ball. What do you guys think? Jack's face lit up at the suggestion, and even Liam couldn't hold back a genuine smile. That would be great, sir. Thank you. In the park, Roger watched with a mix of admiration and sadness as Liam constantly cared for Jack, always attentive, always protective. But gradually, encouraged by Roger, Liam began to relax, running and laughing like the child he was. While the boys played, Roger made a decision. He couldn't simply return to his normal life after this encounter. These boys needed help, and he was in a position to offer it. He found the situation strange, considering how abandoned these children seemed, and that no one had done anything about it. After the outing, Roger asked to speak with the boy's father. Reluctantly, Liam took him to the small apartment where they lived. The meeting with Nathan, the father, was tense. The man, visibly affected by alcohol, reacted with hostility to Roger's presence and his offer of help. "Who do you think you are to meddle in my family?" Nathan shouted, his breath reeking of alcohol. Frightened by their father's violent reaction and imagining it would eventually affect them, Liam grabbed Jack by the hand and ran out of the apartment. Roger tried to chase after the boys, but he couldn't catch up to them. The scene caught the neighbors' attention, and soon the authorities were alerted. In the days that followed, events took a fast and challenging turn. Due to Nathan's behavior and previous reports of neglect, the authorities decided to temporarily suspend his custody of the boys. Faced with uncertainty and concerned for the children's well-being, Roger took an unexpected step. Driven by a deep sense of responsibility and affection for Liam and his brother, he, along with his wife, offered a temporary home for the boys while the situation was being assessed. After a careful visit and a detailed analysis of their living conditions, Roger's proposal was accepted. The definitive approval came with the support of Liam, who declared he was willing to stay under the care of Roger and his wife, easing the process and bringing a bit of tranquility amidst the turmoil. Liam and Jack were taken to Roger's spacious house. For the first time in months, they had a safe and stable environment. Roger made sure to enroll Liam back in school, and when they left the school, his wife took care of the children during the day. Despite the comfort and security that Roger provided, Liam still missed his father. "He can change," Liam insisted. "He just needs a chance." Roger found this very unexpected, a pure and unconditional love of a child for his father. Moved by Liam's loyalty, he decided to make one more effort to help Nathan. He sought out the man and, after an honest and difficult conversation, managed to convince him to seek help for his alcohol problem. The months passed. Nathan underwent a transformation in attitude, motivated by the desire to regain custody of his children, and dedicated himself to rehabilitation. He attended Alcoholics Anonymous meetings, underwent therapy, and gradually began to rebuild his life. Meanwhile, Liam and Jack thrived under Roger's care. Liam became a dedicated student again, made new friends, and for the first time in a long while, was able to enjoy carefree moments appropriate for his age. Jack, in turn, grew up happy and healthy, always excited about his father's visits, which were now regular and supervised. Finally, after almost a year, Nathan was ready to regain custody of his children. He had secured a stable job, remained sober, and had transformed the old apartment into a welcoming home. The day of the family reunion was emotional. Liam and Jack ran into their father's arms, who welcomed them with tears in his eyes. "Forgive me," Nathan whispered, hugging his children. "I promise I will be the father you deserve." Roger watched the scene with a mix of joy and melancholy. He had grown deeply attached to the boys, but he knew their place was with their father. "Thank you for everything, Roger," Liam said, hugging the man who had become his mentor and friend. "You saved us." Roger smiled, moved. "You taught me more than I could have imagined, Liam, about strength, love, and perseverance." Although the boys returned to live with Nathan, Roger remained present in their lives. He became a kind of uncle, always available for advice, help with studies, or simply for ice cream on Sundays. Liam, now 12 years old, was finally able to live fully. The burden he carried had been relieved, allowing him to focus on being just a kid. His promise to his mother to take care of Jack had been fulfilled, and now he could share this responsibility with his recovered father and with Roger. The journey of Liam, Jack, Nathan, and Roger proved that love, compassion, and solidarity can truly transform lives. The family that was nearly torn apart by tragedy and addiction found a new chance, strengthened by the adversities they faced together. The lesson that everyone learned was that the true power of healing lies in unconditional love and the ability to reach out to help those in greatest need. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.